There's only 4 key points that you need to follow when it comes to getting lean and getting in shape. People, it is very simple. Don't make it complicated. I think the most hardest part about getting lean is probably your mindset shift, okay? Because your old habits, you have to understand, when you want to get lean, when you're making the transformation of getting lean, you're not just changing your body, bro, all right? You're not just changing your body. You're actually changing your character. You're actually changing your confidence, your faith, your discipline. And these are new habits that you have to install in this new version of yourself. That's the truth, all right? But anyway, you probably had it all anyway, of how to get lean, be in a calorie deficit, get 13K steps in, train a few times a week or whatever. But I'm gonna break it down on why you've tried to get lean, but it's probably not working. The truth is, you need to calculate every little detail. And when I mean about calculating every little detail, I'm talking about whatever you're consuming when it comes to your food is the most important thing that you have to do, right? And I'm talking by the grams. So you need to be downloading MyFitnessPal on your phone. You need to be calculating, knowing exactly how much calories, fats, carbs, protein you're actually consuming. Because once you know exactly what you're consuming, then only you'll be able to track that data and okay, cool, I am in a calorie deficit. I think where people mainly go wrong, right, is when they think they're in a calorie deficit, but you're just estimating your food. You're not actually tracking how much you're consuming. And that's the difference. When you're just estimating, right, you're guessworking. No one in history has guessed their way to get lean. You can't guess your way to get lean, all right? You need to be calculated when it comes to getting lean. And that is why you need MyFitnessPal. You need to track every little thing. I mean, even like the butters that you use when it comes to you cooking your food, the oils that you're using. I mean, even like your drinks, if you're having like Coke, make sure you're getting like Coke Zero, for example. All these small calories, they all add up. Like even like your ketchups or your mayonnaise or whatever that you're tending to use, all that shit adds up, all right? So you need to make sure that you're calculating every little thing. So just make sure you are in a calorie deficit, right? That's number one, right? The second thing that you need to do to get lean, people, you need to be moving continuously, all right? Obviously, I'm not saying like fucking start running and shit. I'm not saying like start dancing and shit. But I'm talking about getting your steps in, all right? You need to get your steps in. I'm saying minimum, for me and my clients, I say 13K steps minimum, right? And then slowly over time, we'll increase that up maximum to about 15 to 16. I think probably 16 is a bit too much, but 15 max. But my personal experience, 13K is a sweet spot, right? Daily. And I'm thinking, again, it's not about running, right? People get it twisted, like, to get lean, you need to start fucking running. No, because that's gonna spike your hunger. And when you get hungry, you're gonna eat, right? We don't wanna be starving, but at the same time, we don't wanna be super full, right? You wanna create movement, you wanna be walking, getting enough steps in, and realistically, just don't be lazy. Like, I think people underestimate, it's like, you don't want to be doing anything aggressive, all right? When I'm talking about getting lean, you don't need to be running, right? Like, you don't need to be like sweating your fucking balls off, bro. That's like the incorrect way of doing it, right? You wanna get your steps in, and the best way to do that is like small little habit shifts. Like, instead of you parking close by to your supermarket, park a bit more further, right? So that way you have to walk to the supermarket, and then when you get in the supermarket, then you can actually start walking around every single aisle, and then these like 2K steps, 3K steps to start adding up on a day-to-day basis. Next thing you know, you've got 13K steps. It's that easy. Like, what I tend to do for myself is I go for a walk every single morning, right? About 6:30 or 7 a.m. in the morning, I'll wake up, I'll brush my teeth, and I'm straight out the door. I'll walk for an hour straight, all right? I'll walk all the way down to the supermarket, grab my breakfast, my eggs or my spinach or whatever, and I'll walk back up, and I've already done like 6K steps. It's that easy. Like, people say, oh, I ain't got time, bro. It's not about having time, you have to make time, all right? You've got time to be on your phone when you're scrolling, you know what I'm saying? You got time to fucking bust a fucking wank excuse my language, but you got time for all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You got time to chat to fucking 20 girls, but you ain't got time to go for a quick walk for half an hour or an hour, however long you want to walk for. That's my point. It's not about I ain't got time, it's about making time. Make sure that you are the priority. You get me? Make sure you prioritize yourself. You get me? Because at the end of the day, if you don't love yourself, bro, who is? Yeah? All right, so get your steps in. Number 3, you want to be training in the gym at least 3 to 5 times a week, okay? And you don't need to be blasting volumes of sets and volumes of reps. I think people get that wrong as well, right? Like if you tried to get lean many times and you're blasting a lot of volume, you're not actually retaining your muscle. When you go to the gym, you need to be doing progressive overload, all right? And you want to keep it very simple. I'm talking about 6 to 8 reps. You don't need to be blasting 10 to 12 reps, all right? Because we're not doing cardio, okay? You want to be, when you're going in the gym, you want to be training to failure, because the whole point of training, and you want to retain as much strength as you possibly can in the gym, okay? Because the more you stimulate your muscles are like, oh shit, even though we're in a calorie deficit, right, I still need to somehow hold this muscle mass. And you stimulate your muscles when you're in the gym by doing progressive overload. And as you're doing progressive overload, it's like, oh shit, even though I'm burning fat, I need to retain this muscle, because you're sending a signal to your muscle saying, hold this fucking muscle. You know what I'm saying? You need to hold this strength, hold this muscle as much as you can, regardless if you're in a calorie deficit. That being said, when you're in a calorie deficit, make sure you're not doing crazy amounts of crazy amounts of calories, bro. Max, I'd say, do about a 700 calorie deficit. To start off with, you can probably do, I say, about 500. I think a calorie deficit of 500 is nice, because you still got enough energy, especially if you know how to time your carbs correctly. So make sure you're I say start off with 500 calories, and then you can slowly increase that as you go along and when you plateau on weight, all right? Okay, so that's the third thing anyway. The third thing is make sure you're in the gym 3 to 5 times a week, training to failure, progressive overload. The fourth thing, you need to be getting your sleep on point. This one was a game changer for me, bro. I did not realize how much sleep is important for you, all right? Because your body is in a calorie deficit already, you don't want to be spiking your cortisol levels up, all right? Especially if you've got a lot of work going on, like a lot of stressful work, if you got things, just like normal life that are like stressing you out. Your sleep is the only thing that's gonna make sure that you recover correctly, right? Now I'm in a full-on routine when it comes to sleep, bro. Like I sleep at like 9:30, max it'll be 10:30, max, right? But you need to be getting in at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, all right? And I'm talking about good sleep as well. So like, obviously I take 2 pills of magnesium as well before I go to sleep, so that shit just knocks me out. And sometimes I do take this little CBD oil as well, this ashwagandha CBD oil, and that shit just knocks me out, bro. And I'm just knock out for like a good 7 to 9 hours every single day, all right? But the faster you get in a routine of your sleep, you're gonna get lean, all right? Because you don't wanna put stress on your body, because you're already putting stress on your body when it comes to you pushing weights, when it comes to training to failure, obviously you walking. And when you increase your stress levels on your body, right, fat is actually harder to lose, right? So that's why I'm saying don't do the running, don't do the jogging, just do good, intense walking, incline walking or Stairmasters, or even just walking around, whatever. But you need to dial into your sleep. Your sleep is so important, because that's where you actually grow and that's where you actually recover, right? So the next day you can recover nicely and you're ready for your gym session again, you're ready for your 13K steps in, and you're ready to just dial in and lock in into your meals, all right? But yeah, these are the main 4 things that you need to lock in like ASAP, bro. If you get these 4 things on point, again, I'm gonna tell you again, first things first, calorie deficit, make sure you are in a calorie deficit. Obviously, bonus tip, make sure you're having high protein as well, okay? High protein meals and you're in a calorie deficit, right? At least between 0.8 to 2 grams per body weight. Number 2, make sure you get your steps in, minimum 13K steps. Number 3, make sure you're training progressive overload when it comes to training. And number 4, dial in into your sleep. Create a nighttime routine for yourself so you recover every single day correctly, all right? And that is it, man. Follow these 4 steps, you're gonna get lean. And make sure you have some patience as well, bro, because you don't want to be, this is not like a get rich quick scheme. This is not a get lean quick scheme. Does that make sense? Getting lean takes time, all right? It might take you 3 months, it might take you 4 months. Max, you should be in a calorie deficit, I'd say at least max, I'd say 16 weeks. Maybe pushing it, 18 weeks max, all right? So be in a calorie deficit. Make sure you log your weight every single week. If you want to do daily, you can do daily, but I'm trying to keep this simple. But every week, just log your weight, so that way you know you're dropping weight, right? Again, you don't want to be losing weight aggressively. If you're losing too much weight, right, you're losing muscle mass as well. So you want to find a good sweet spot. Anything between 0.5 to 1 kg per week is perfect. That's when you've found a sweet spot. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to find that sweet spot, all right? That being said, hopefully you enjoyed that video. Please leave a like if you did, and leave a comment. I want to see your guys' thoughts as well. I'll see you guys in the next video.